Sure.
The Ravens are on the road to face the Titans on Sunday, and Lamar addressed the notion that he can't win in the playoffs, saying that he's, quote, definitely trying to erase that narrative, and that's his #1 goal. I hear you, Lamar. Greg Jennings is back with us. Always good to have you, G. But Marcellus, you up first.
Yeah.
Should Lamar be concerned about erasing a narrative right now?
Yeah, he should be concerned, and he should address this narrative, and he needs to do it this weekend in the postseason. I want people out there to understand this is not just a sports conversation. We're trying to have life lessons.
That's real.
Here,
That's
you know
real.
What I mean?
That's real.
We're using sports as a springboard into life conversations.
You preaching.
Sometimes in your life, you and your haters can pull in the same direction. I will give you an example because I always talk about me before I talk about y'all. But trust me, I'm going to talk about y'all, but I'm going to go here first. If the narrative out there is, hey, Marcellus, you could lose a few pounds, it sounds like hate, sounds like criticism. But you know what? You're right. I can lose a few pounds. My doctor just told me that a month ago, so I've been on a mission to try and lose a few pounds because I want to be here as long as possible. But you know what? Anytime we hear criticism, anytime someone has the mirror outside the house, you can't get mad at the mirror or who's holding it if it's true. This is true. Lamar Jackson does not want to go down in history as now a 0-3 postseason quarterback, especially being a unanimous MVP quarterback at that. No, no, no. But there's a narrative out there that's growing that Lamar Jackson, because of his postseason woes, is now being looked at as suspect even in the regular season that I want to address. That's an issue in itself. So Lamar Jackson, if you don't want people to be hypercritical of your game, we know how they move the goalposts all the time on Lamar Jackson. We have certainly documented that on this show. You got to address the elephant in the room. In my case, I was the elephant in the room. In your case, go out there and win a postseason game and shut up your haters.
Yo, that's about to be good because I'm saying the same ideology as you with a completely different answer.
Okay.
Lamar shouldn't be concerned with erasing the narrative. Lamar should be concerned with greatness, and the narrative will erase itself. Lamar don't need to be concerned about such a small little narrative. Concern yourself with greatness, and the narrative will be erased simultaneously. When I come on this show, I'm not concerned about the ratings for how we did.
Stop lying.
I'm not. I'm not.
Yesterday?
Let me tell you what I'm concerned about.
Okay.
I'm concerned about making a great show. I'm concerned about making people laugh. I'm concerned about having a good rapport. I'm concerned about properly executing a quality take. If I do all them things, when I do go check the narrative or the ratings, they will have ascended. Okay. When I wrote the book, you wrote a book. You probably weren't, at least I was not concerned with being a bestseller. That's not the concern.
No.
I was concerned with writing a book that would tug at the heartstrings of the reader, encourage a reader, etc. Now, if you do all those things and you execute those things properly, you'll look up and you'll be like, oh, wow, I'm a bestseller, or at least I far exceeded my goals. That's what happened to me in looking up. Lamar Jackson, if you focus in on a little, if you focus in on that narrative, then all you will accomplish is that narrative. I'm going to give y'all some free game. Went to school for, I think, I don't know, 6-7 years, and it all comes down to
college?
In college.
Damn.
A master's degree. Master's degree.
Oh, I'm going to say super senior.
No, I graduated in 3. It all comes down to this one final thing. Goals are stupid. I said it. Goals are stupid. I don't believe in setting goals. I believe in having an objective with no limitations. Because if you set goals, at best, you will accomplish that goal and probably nothing else. And at worst, you ruin your self-esteem. Lamar Jackson, don't set a goal of winning a playoff game. Just have your objective. Because if you set this goal of winning a playoff game, what's going to happen, Marcellus?
It's over.
He's going to win another one. He'll win a playoff game, and then that's all that's going to happen. But if you think Lamar Jackson winning one playoff game is going to silence the naysayers, be real.
No, they're going to move the goalposts again.
Facts.
Hey,
that's the point.
That's more acreage. But that's more acreage for him to roam.
But that's why don't focus on a narrative. Because all they're going to do is, like you said, and you hit the nail on the head, they will move the goalpost one more time.
I got to lose 10 more pounds now.
That's it. That's exactly what happens. Don't focus on the narrative, Lamar. Focus on greatness. Focus on the process. The narrative will erase itself.
I like that.
I think Lamar should be concerned with erasing the narrative. And we're all going to come to the same conclusion. Because if Lamar does focus on the concern, you talk about books, there's a book out there called The One Big Thing. Now, the #1 thing that has to happen for the Baltimore Ravens to achieve that success, to continue to play in the postseason, is that man right there having an outstanding performance. If he plays well, then yes, the greatness will be achieved. The greatness will be obtained. But if he does not, it doesn't happen for this team. He's always been about the team. He's won an MVP, and he's been the first to say, I don't care about that. I want to win the Super Bowl. So, yes, he's always been focused on the larger scale and the big picture. But within the big picture, he understands at a young age that he is the most important aspect of that picture. He is the most important piece. He is the most valuable thing that picture can consist itself of, because he makes it go. He is the everything in this Baltimore Ravens organization. So if he comes out there and he says, yes, I'm trying to erase this narrative, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's being selfish and he's focusing on only one thing for his personal gain. He's understanding that if I achieve this, we can achieve this. Because what's the most important position on the football field? It's the quarterback position. And where is legacies created? In the postseason. In our sport, this is where legacies become concrete. If he can continue to focus on himself, concern himself about his performance, everything else is going to take care of itself.
Man, preach right there. That postseason performance and success will be exaggerated for good or for bad. Like you said, it took normal players to superstar status. It has people that are good players looked at as great players because of their postseason success. Edelman comes to mind in terms of being a really good player, but boy, his postseason success elevates him to a conversation of Hall of Famer. When being real, I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. But that's to your point, Greg. You do it in the postseason, it's going to take on a life of its own. And that's the problem with Lamar Jackson. I'm going to give you two examples. One is the fact that if you look at Lamar Jackson in comparison as a starter in the regular season and in the playoffs, man, the numbers aren't as drastically different as we expect. Look at the win-loss. Obviously, you don't have as many gains, but passing yards per game, better in the playoffs? How? Rushing yards per game, better in the playoffs? How? Rushing average, better in the playoffs? The point is, I'm not going to go through every category, and there's some he's worse in, obviously, and there's one on here. But the point is, it gets exaggerated. It takes on its own life form. My example was this. This week, I took my kids to the beach, and I wanted my 1-year-old to see a sunset live and in person. So my 5-year-old's there. He's seen a sunset before. He's with his 1-year-old little sister. And we pull up to the beach as close as we can, but we're not getting in the water. It's cold as hell out here in L.A. at night, sunset time. We're sitting there, picturesque, perfect. Sunset is at 4:57. We there, it's 4:50. We sitting up, we playing with the sand, got our sand toys out, everything. Ready for this picture. It's perfect. Just us, shoreline, and beautiful sunset. And guess what happens? About 4:55, a couple shows up, and they walk right in front of our sight line, right where we're going to take the pictures and right where the sunset is. I ain't mad at them. They got a better seat in the house. But you know what's interesting about that? That one couple, that one thing messed up some